Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
I have another question. Now, I sent you an email yesterday with that crazy elevation again that has the 6 door leaves that we were discussing previously, all putting on pivot hinges, 6 pairs of pivot hinges. I had a call with the customer yesterday where they said locking was important, single action more important than double action. And they also said that leaving it in the 90 open position was going to be important, right? And then we said, well, would it be easier to have 6 doors that operate kind of like this on pivot hinges if we could figure out what the hardware situation is? Or would it be easier to do 3 doors that pivot at their center point, right? In which case they're like, it's a 360 rotate, or, it's at least you got a door leaf on either side of the wall. If they can accommodate that with their floor plan, would it be easier to do 3 doors like that than 6 doors? I tend to think 3 doors would be easier, provided we can figure out how to put that door together on site, because it is 9 feet tall, right? And each leaf is 2.5 feet wide, 9 feet tall. They're pretty big. They would need to come in. We would need to have 6 leaves anyway. It's just that they get combined into pairs before they get installed as doors, right?
Yeah.
So, that I tend to think that 3 doors rotating from the middle is easier to actually accomplish. But I don't know, there's all these variables, like you were saying, there's all these variables together. I don't know how to make their requirements all fit. So that's the consultation part of this that I need your help on.
Well, the requirements are self-closing and key lockable.
The requirements are self-closing and
the
key lockable.
Requirement. The requirement is they need to be lockable. They need to be able to stay open at the open position, and that's pretty much it. They don't need double acting. They could accommodate it. It appears. But you can see there's no room for anything else. You're just going to have one common header, and that's it. There's no other verticals dividing up the leaves or anything like that. It's just the doors.
Yeah, so in the top, are these doors rectangular or are they radius?
In the top, are these
They're
doors
going to be rectangular.
Rectangular?
Okay.
Or are they radius?
That radius top to a pair is
that is a
design element of an otherwise rectangular door.
Radius top to a pair is a design element of an otherwise rectangular door. Thank goodness.
Back to your checkmate. You could use a 10 series.
So
you could use a series that's concealed.
Back to your checkmate.
And they do make
You could use a 10 series.
Where they're going to keep the
series
door
that's concealed
in the position
and they do make
of 90 until someone pulls it off that holder position.
In the position
it's like a friction.
of 90
it's a piece
until
of,
someone
it's a friction
pulls it off that holder position.
Track. So that would accomplish that. They'll reliably stay
open.
The issue that you're going to have
so that would accomplish that. They'll reliably
if you stick with 6 doors,
issue that you're going to have
the projection of your pull handles are going to never allow those doors to
if you stick with 6 doors.
Right, yeah, we discussed that too, so I think what we're going to need to do is get a way more slender handle solution, and because we're making the doors, we might as well just integrate it into the door style, right?
Yeah, something built
so,
yeah.
You're right. So that's ideally what I would want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah. If we did 3 doors, though, if we did 3 wide doors rotating from their center, that issue is mute. So that might be kind of nice too.
It would certainly be mute. Moot. Yeah, you'd
well,
have to move the pull handles, but yes, it's no longer a conflict.
It would certainly be moot. Yeah, you'd have to move the pull handles, but yes, it's
no
longer a conflict.
How do you lock that sucker? That's really my question.
The issue
with
that...
Easy. So, Adams Wright has... you're familiar with flush
that's
bolts.
easy.
Well, turns out that they have a
Adams
flush
Wright
bolt that
has
is key operated.
you're familiar with
literally
flush
it's a mortise
bolts.
cylinder.
Well,
and
turns
that's all
out that
you
they
would
have a
see
flush
when the
bolt
doors are
that is
closed. You'd see a
key operated. Literally, it's a mortise cylinder.
3/8,
and that's all you would see when the doors are closed.
diameter
You'd see a
face of a mortise
inch
cylinder.
and
And
3/8,
get the doors to the closed position, you turn the key, it acts as a
face of a
handle,
mortise
basically.
cylinder.
And the bolt
And
would
you
run
get the
either
doors
up
to the
into
closed
header
position,
or
you
down
turn
into
the key, it
floor.
acts as a handle, basically. And the bolt would run either
Or
up
both.
into the header or
You know,
down
you
into
could
the
do
floor.
2-point locking. But
Or
key-operated
both.
cylinders are really
you can
common
do 2-point locking.
with the woodworking clients
but
that we have.
key-operated
for doing
cylinders are
something like
really
this.
common
They're easy to
For these doors,
with the woodworking clients.
yeah,
that
no,
we
I mean,
have
I think
doing
if the
something
door
like
were
this.
made out of wood,
Easy
we
and
would jump
cheap
on that
dimensions.
all day. These doors are going to be made out of metal, though, and the header is also like a 15-foot long piece of steel structurally. So that's another complication here. I can't just mortise anywhere I want to. I can machine the metal to put in what I need to put in. It's just a more difficult step, but one question is,
you're just going to die grind that and then weld in tabs.
It's not.
Okay.
I mean, you're just going to die grind.
There's lots. I would want to know the width of the style because you've got obviously
there's
glass
lots.
there.
I would want to know
You've gotta
the
have
width
an
of the
adequate style
style
dimension, but,
because you've got obviously glass there.
That would be
You've got to have
one
an
of my
adequate
welders
style
die
dimension,
grinding.
but I mean,
okay, so that's cool.
That would
And
be
then,
that would be one of my welders die grinding.
I guess. So if you have 3 doors rotating from their center points, this flush bolt lock, is that on the profile of the door, like the 2 or 3 inch wide?
Edge.
Thick? It is.
Yeah.
Well, so how do you get to all of those locks?
Yeah, it'd be in the style.
In this design, how do all 3 doors lock? How do you get there?
Well, so the 2-point or the cylinder-operated flush bolt, the face of the flush bolt would be more to the edge of the door, the 2-inch thick
The
side,
face of the flush bolt is.
However, the
would be
actuating point
mortised
is in
to
the
the
face
edge
of the door.
the 2-inch thick.
Okay, gotcha.
However, the actuating point is in the face of the door.
Amazing. And so that mechanism, extends the whole length of that door style, or half the length. It just goes from the actuating point up to the ceiling, for example, right? Is that correct?
It's nothing other than a long piece of threaded rod.
Okay, and it doesn't take too much room
it's
either.
Nothing other than a long piece of threaded rod.
Anywhere else.
No, this stuff is really meant for aluminum storefront doors, and you may know that those things are.
No, this stuff is really
1
meant for aluminum storefront doors, and
so
you
really
may know
narrow.
that those
They're
things
really
those doors are 1 3/4 face. This is the style width, so they're really narrow. They're really.
And we can do this in steel, like that. The edge there can just literally be steel tube with angle iron on the outside of it to hold the glass. Right?
That'd be like Michael Jordan not breaking that 3-point record back in the playoffs when the local guy.
Like Michael Jordan not breaking that 3-point record.
It's done
back in the playoffs when the local guys in Seattle.
No problem. Too easy.
It's happening.
No problem.
Too easy.
It's done. It's too easy.
No
problem.
This is the hardware that you'd want to look at is the Adams Wright 1870. That's their cylinder-operated.
This is the hardware that you'd want to look at is the Adams Wright 1870. That's their cylinder-operated flush bolt.
So what was that again? Adams Wright what?
So ADAMS, and then Wright is RITE.
So ADAMS.
Part of the part number is 1870.
And that part number is 187. Part of the part number is 1870.
Amazing. Okay, so that's the locking mechanism, and then we already have our, the 260 offset pivot hinge or whatever that can be center mounted, just like we did before in our big walnut door. And then we're done.
Well, you need a way to hold it at 90. So, I would suggest that you review
you need a way to hold it at 90.
Catalog and go for a mortise
I would suggest that you review the Rixson Checkmate catalog and go for a mortise style.
In the 15-foot long header.
But then again, you're dealing with more
or you just say, I'm not die grinding that,
and
it's going to be surface-mounted hardware.
And in your doors.
At the end of the day...
Or you just say, I'm not die grinding that, and it's going to be surface-mounted hardware.
You've got to really look at
at the end of the day,
the templates of all of the hardware.
You've got to really
look
at
style. Everything is
the templates
is really,
of all of the hardware.
The overhead stops and holders are directly related to the
really,
principles of how you're hanging the door.
The overhead stops and holders are directly related to the principles of how you're hanging the door. If you've got center hung pivots, that's really important to look at all those templates and instructions to make sure that it's all.
Well, if we do 3 doors, they'll need to be
will
center
they be
hung.
center hung or will they be offset?
Oh, they'll definitely need to be center hung if you do that. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, they'll definitely need to be center hung.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah, right.
That's absolutely a problem.
Yeah,
because
well, that's a problem. That's absolutely a problem.
I would have to run that past tech support to make sure that it's going to be a special template.
I would have to run that past
and I've
tech
got to
support
make sure
to make sure that it's going to be a special template at a minimum, and I've got to make sure that they can fit all the hardware where the pivot point is going to be, because your doors are, your door becomes a 30-inch wide door at that point. And then we're going to suck up so much room from the center line
that we can achieve
for
getting the hardware physically installed that it's not too big. 1, 2,
that we can
getting it to 90 and
getting
it's
the hardware
working.
physically installed that it's not too big.
1,
2, getting it to 90 and it actually working.
That would have to be
all of that is dependent on your degree of opening as well, or in your case.
Okay, so what I can do is I can get you a sketch or a model of just basically a piece of steel for the header that's 15 feet long, right?
Yeah.
And I can then draw what I think how I think the door should be made, making note of, using at least a 2-inch by 2-inch tube for the border, right, for the whole frame of it. And from there, I can give you the requirements. And does that make it easier for you to analyze how everything's going to come together? That way you kind of have a document.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm going to work on.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm going to work on for you.
Yeah.
Because I see the complication here, but I think we're pretty close. This is not as complicated as I thought it was going to be, but it sounds like, the center hung pivot hardware, getting that to stop at 90 and stop at 0, given that we've got a steel header and steel door frames. We have to make sure it's all compatible, right?
Yeah, but how will you actually stop it at 0?
You can definitely have it.
Going to need to have.
Yeah, but how will you actually stop it at 0? So your header is going to need to have,
or you have like
either
a single
applied
rabbit, or
hardware to prevent the door from swinging in the wrong direction.
Like we were talking about weather
or you have like a single rabbit, or you've got
how
some.
Problematic that is.
Like we were talking about weather stripping,
something that's
center hung doors, and how problematic that is.
Swinging in the wrong direction.
Same concept. You've got to have something that's going to prevent the door from swinging in the wrong direction.
It'll sure keep you from doing it, but
because that slide track.
You got to have an actual piece of
it'll sure keep you from doing it, but
stopping here, and that's
not
that holder.
You got to have an actual piece of applied hardware.
Well, so if we're doing a 5-foot wide, 9-foot tall center pivoting door, right? Doesn't that just mean, okay, well, it just rotates in one direction and rotates back. It doesn't 360 spin. That's all that means, right?
But what's going to prevent it? We know that we're going to hold it at 90 clockwise.
What's going to prevent it? We know that we're going to hold it at 90 clockwise. What prevents someone from trying to swing it counterclockwise, like
the underside of the header, right?
You need something there to make sure that couldn't happen.
You'd need
Okay, well, I mean,
something there to
pretty
make
simple,
sure that couldn't happen.
Right?
It is. I can rattle off 5 part numbers for an applied stop. Really easy.
Exactly.
That's just another piece of that'll be a line on your
5 part numbers for an applied stop. Really easy.
Okay, Richard, I think we're good. I'm going to draw you these diagrams so that you have something more concrete to work with, and we'll get this hardware specified and rock and roll, dude. Here's the other thing too: is they said they want this stuff installed in the next 6 weeks. That's still going to be fine with everything that we've talked about. I mean, hardware we're talking about is not super specialized.
Well, the cylinder-operated flush bolts, those are probably in stock. but
the cylinder-operated flush bolts, those are probably
the overhead
in stock,
stops are going to need to be special templated, assuming that they can be done. That's
the overhead stops are going to need to be special templated, assuming that they can be done. That's
probably
for sure
3 or 4 weeks. We've got
to factory lead time.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Probably 3 or 4 weeks. We've got to make sure it's going to.
You're about a month on this hardware.
Is that the first set of hardware, the closer that you mentioned?
Once it's ordered.
Well, it's really kind of all of it when you need all of it at the same time.
It's really kind of all of it when you
those are probably going to be a
shorter
lead
time. At the same time.
But the
cylinder-operated flush bolts, those are probably going to be a shorter
lead time. Are going to be
a
factory lead time because
but the overhead
holders there has to be
are going to be a factory lead time
so
because
the hardware actually ships,
they'll have to be special
paperwork in the box.
There has to be an engineering review done so that when the hardware actually ships,
and that would be
the paperwork in the box is specific for that application only. And that would be
all right. Well, that is what it is. I will let the customer know right away. We're talking about the first door right now, correct?
The door closer, the uni? Yeah, I've got to know the reveal, and once I know that, I can check stock.
The
it's either
door
closer,
the uni?
Or it's going to be a factory
I've got to know the
order,
reveal, and once I know that, I can check stock. It's either going to
be
in stock,
and if
it's going to be a factory order, which is probably a month, but I'll find that out.
Stock.
And if
you had to go with an 8300 without the uni
we're going to have to look for something that is in stock. And if you had to go with an 8300 without the uni,
we're on one page, dude. Tally ho! I'm going to get you that information ASAP. You rock, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a great day.
Okay.
All right, bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
Recording paused.
Okay. You too. Bye-bye. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.